We are hearing Bhaktyaloka. Now we are hearing about Jana Sangha, association with non-devotees, that will destroy devotion. Last time we heard that when someone gets faith by Sukriti, then naturally the desire for association of devotees arises. Everything is attained by association of devotees. Then also we heard how Krishna is saying those who say they are my devotees, they are actually not my devotees. But those who say they are devotees of my devotees, they are actually my devotees. That is why this Guru Parampara is important in this world. I hear someone saying that someone asked, who is your Guru? You are speaking that Guru is important. Then who is your Guru? Then he answers, no, I am directly with Krishna. So that is not proper. Krishna reveals himself in this world through four bona fide Guru Paramparas. So we have to submit to proper preceptorial channel, Guru Parampara, to get that grace of service to Krishna from them who are authorized. And also in spiritual world, all are serving under the guidance, like those jivas who will enter into Lila, they will have their guide there also. He will guide them how to serve Krishna. Like Brinda Devi, he's having manjaris like this. So we are not direct devotee. We have to serve Krishna under the guidance of devotee, those his personal associates. Not just any devotee, but those who are of Sarup Shakti, his personal associates, and those who are blessed to serve as gurus or pure devotees. From them we can get service. Then we also heard that if someone, by even a moment, he gets darshan, touch, or he converses with a devotee, that will purify him. This from Brahmanda Puranis. The devotees directly purify the pulkasha, that is like chandala, by seeing, by touching, by their words, and by living with them just for a moment. So our Gurudev explained what this means. By one moment of a real sadhu's association, we get a clue. What is the reality? Who we are? Why we have to suffer in this world? What is the cause? To whom we belong? How we can serve Krishna? All this we get clue. And as much as we apply that, follow that, that much we can be purified and can get ultimate goal up to that extent. Today I read from one letter of Gurudev. Gurudev wrote to one devotee, it is by Krishna's will, by Krishna's sanction that you met us, means Gurudev. And I was ultimately persuaded to help you in your worship of Krishna. So you got the grace, but now it is up to you how you will utilize that grace. Because every jiva has free will. So we have to act on those instructions, then we can be benefited. No one will do instead of us, and no one will force us And also in Shastra, in Vedanta Sutra, this question is raised. Does the jiva have free will or not? Then the answer is yes. Otherwise, the whole Shastras would be meaningless. Because Shastras say, if you do this yagya, you will get this result. If you do this, you will get this result. If you will worship Krishna, you will go to him. If you do these sinful activities, you will get this result. So if jiva had no free will, then for whom the Shastra would be meant? If jiva is just controlled like a doll in the hands of Supreme Lord, then there is no need of scripture. There is no need of advice or instruction of Guru. That is meaningless. He can just put us here, there, and like this. But willingly, if he will accept, then he will get such a result. And also, Krishna says in Gita, if someone will worship the ghosts, he will go to them. If someone will worship demigods, he will go to them. If someone will worship this, they will go. If someone will worship me, he will go to me. So it is up to you. Gurudev wrote, it is up to you how you will utilize now this. And then a result is accordingly. Our Gurudev, he gave one example. Once, one husband and wife. Then that husband met one friend who was a magician. So how are you? Like everything okay like this? Then husband said, yes, it is okay, but my wife is not very obedient to me. So I'm disturbed. Then he requested that magician, you give me that magic stick by which I can make my wife obedient. Then he gave him, and then this husband came home and he said to with that stick, he said, wife, you sit down. And she sat down. And then he said, you go there. And she went there. Now you cook, and everything she was doing like a robot. Then at first he was happy, but after some time there was no taste in that. She became like a doll or like a robot. So she became like matter. But the difference between matter and living entity is this. The living entity has free will. So Krishna also does not want to force any living entity into submission to him, because if he forces, then that will be reduced to matter which you can exploit like something. But there is no happiness of loving relationship there. No rasa can be. Rasa is possible only between two independent entities. That is why Krishna wants to persuade, to convince jivas that they should willingly serve him. Then when they do willingly, then their consciousness is not destroyed, they're living being living beings, that is not destroyed, and then their rasa is possible. But otherwise to manipulate, to control, to like a robot something, then there is no happiness in that. Our Gurudev also gave example, if you put one person into one place, big palace, and so much gold is there, diamonds, nice bathroom, bed, but there are no living entities there, no conscious beings. He cannot be happy. Impossible. Only with dead things around him, he cannot be happy. Then if he gets some, at least cat or dog or parrot or something living, then he will get some happiness, but otherwise not. Only from that matter things, it is not possible. Because Atma is conscious being, and Atma requires Atma. Atma cannot be satisfied with Anatma, that material things. So consciousness is there. So there in Vedanta, yes, Jiva has free will, but fruits are controlled by Krishna. What kind of fruit you will get. You can decide what you will do, but so like that Gurudev said, we get knowledge from sadhu, we get inspiration, we get guidance, we get advice. But how much we apply that in our life, that much we can get eternal welfare. Like you will find many people, they say, yes, I have faith in God, I have faith in Krishna, they say, but they are not acting according to his instruction, doing their own things. Then how they can expect to get eternal welfare? They will rotate in these karmic activities and reactions all the time. If you want to get eternal welfare, then you have to follow the process. These things you have to give up, these things you have to accept. And then gradually you get more and more realization. Otherwise, you will remain in the same place. Although you are saying, yes, I have faith in Krishna, I have Guru, I got association of devotees, but not doing, then no use. Then further here, the glories of devotees is, that is by Prahlad Maharaj in Bhagavatam, Naishamati stavat urukramangrim sprishat yanartha pagamo yatartha Mahiyasam pada rajo bhishekam nishkinchananam navrinita javat. As long as their intelligence does not accept the dust from the feet of devotees who having no material desires, the intelligence of these people will not realize the lotus feet of the Lord. When Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, how you got this devotion? He said, I did not get from these teachers, also not from myself or from any conditioned soul. It is impossible. Only such devotee who has no material desires, if you take dust of his lotus feet on your head, then your inclination to serve Krishna will be there. Otherwise not. Also sometimes I hear, I have to take my own responsibility. Why I will need Guru? And some people say, I already accepted Guru, so he will take all the responsibility. I need not do anything. Both is wrong. There is Guru's responsibility, Guru's part, and there is my part. Like if I am sick and I have no knowledge of medical science, I'm sick, I'm suffering, then I don't know what is with me and what is the medicine I have to take or diet. I don't know. So I require the help of experienced doctor who knows that science. I require him. I have to go to him. He will examine. He will tell this is the disease and this is the medicine, this is diet. Then you will be cured. So that is his responsibility. But my responsibility is I have to follow that prescription. Guru will not and cannot do instead of me. And at the same time, without his help, by my own responsibility, I can never be cured because I don't have that knowledge or that connection with Krishna. So I have my own responsibility and Guru has his own responsibility. Both have responsibility. When you follow what you come to know from Guru, then you can get the result. So many misconceptions going on. Guru will do, or no, I don't need any Guru, everything is within me. Then we cannot get the desired result. Without association of devotees, Bhakti Devi will not appear in the Jiva's heart. This is described in many places in the scriptures. Like one is very famous from Brihad Naradiya Purana, I think. Bhaktistu Bhagavad Bhakta Sangena Parijayate. Sat Sanga Prapete Pumbih Sukriter Purva Sanchite. Bhaktistu Bhagavad Bhakta Sangena Parijayate. Bhakti will awaken by association with devotees. How we will get association with devotees? By accumulation of Sukriti. Satsanga praptate pumbi, that person, how he will get satsanga? Sukriter purva sanchite, how much he accumulated that sukriti before, he will get. And another verses are there in Bhagavatam, that when the time comes for you to be liberated from Maya, at that time you meet devotees, and by grace of such devotees, devotion will be awakened. So many scriptural evidences there. Association of devotees is very necessary for the sadhakas. Thus, Jana Sangha in the present context means association with persons devoid of bhakti. Thus, Rupa Goswami has arranged that giving up material association is an anga of bhakti. One limb of devotion is to give up association with non-devotees, because they will inspire you to some other goals that will harm you. Then someone will ask, persons devoid of bhakti, but before you said that every jiva has bhakti already within, and now you're saying devoid of bhakti. Every jiva has devotion, as iron has attraction to magnet, but now it is covered or dormant. So non-devotees, they have dormant devotion that is not helping you. And they have awakened other material desires, so they will inspire you in those directions. So that association you have to give up, and you have to accept association of those who manifested their devotion. They are practically always in the service of Krishna, then they will inspire you to the service of Krishna. That is beneficial. Later we will know this. Sanga Tyago Vidurena Bhagavad Vimukhair Janai, from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. One should completely give up association with persons averse to the Lord. The person who desires to attain Krishna Bhakti should give up association with materialistic people with great care. He should not perform the actions described in the 4th verse of Padashamrita with them at all. That is, giving and taking gifts, revealing your own heart, and hearing their heart, because they will speak, yes, that I did this enjoyment, you also come, or some crime or something. And if you will say, I have faith in Krishna, then they will ridicule you. You are a mad person. You have to live your life in this world that is all fictitious. You have to enjoy. Only once you live. So such things, they will come if you express your heart. So you should not do with non-devotees. Then here, and also prasad or food, giving and taking also not. Then here further Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, conversing with them in ordinary dealings is not called association with them. Like if you are in job, there are many workers there. So you have to speak something in relation to job. And you have to cooperate with them to make that work done, and you will get payment. And why you are working? You are working for Krishna, so that you can maintain your life, that you can worship. So for that purpose you are doing, and ordinary dealings, because further Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, performing actions with them in an affectionate mood is the association referred to in this verse, our relationship with love, with attachment. That you should not do. Then that will take you to other directions. With love, you should with devotees. Then that is called sadhu sangha. And if you just speak with others or see, like, or in a shop, You cannot avoid seeing that the person who is selling there or taking cash. You cannot avoid or speaking, but that is only for that purpose and not with affection, with loving affection. Then that will not be considered as asatsanga. There are many types of persons averse to the Lord. The sadhaka should know these types well. Though reluctant, I will enumerate them all. There are 7 types of people with aversion. Devotee does not want to speak about non-devotees, but he has to in order to teach us that what kind of association is undesirable. So good motive is behind. Otherwise, no need to speak about them. 1. Mayavadis and atheists. 2. Material enjoyers. 3. Persons attached to the association of material enjoyers. Woman or man for opposite, because by nature of Maya, when you get certain body, you identify, then naturally you have attraction for certain type of another. Generally male, female, man, but also some other LGTB, all those things there. But the point is, all is based on bodily, natural that thing. So it is not, though in Shastra generally it is said woman, because before generally only male would study Shastra. That is why it's said. But new acharyas, they always explain to us that it is meant both sides. For woman, man, for man, woman. But nowadays also acharyas, they have to say, like Sai Maharaj also had to deal with some homosexuals. So he had to explain that also. That is the same energy, but different object, but same thing. So that enjoying spirit is what is referred to here. Persons who associate with woman, or women who associate with men for sexual pleasures and other things. Pretenders, 6 pretenders. 7 sinful, foolish persons beyond Varna ashram. See, even those who are not following any kind of morality, they will do sins. They don't care whether they cheat, they lie, they kill, they steal, and they are violent, they do everything. The only their target is sense enjoyment in the form of money, woman or man, and name and fame, and they are ready to do anything for that goal. Because only once you live. Also in India there are some such atheists that I think that Charvaka Muni, he said this: you borrow, steal or beg or whatever, but you get ghee and enjoy. Ghee is like a symbol of enjoyment, like opulent food. So in any way you steal, borrow, anyway, but you have to enjoy, because only once you live, then once you die, then everything is finished, so why you bother about anything? But those who are moral, they know that in next life, that it also next life also exists, and you will have to reap the fruits of your bad actions. For Christians, they know that either you will go to hell or heaven. There are not many lives, but one. So, but in this life, what you do, that will determine you will go to heaven or hell eternally. Buddhists, they know many lives, but you cannot be liberated if you do wrong actions. And there you have some worldly morality, atheistic they understand that if they do something moral, then in this life they will have to suffer for that, immoral. So they make these courts and some laws and like this. They don't believe in next life, but they know that even for some bad actions, there will be bad result now in this life. So they try to make some rules for society so that such bad results would not come. But nowadays, it is rarely that this is followed, any legal things. Because in court, either you can bribe that person or somehow your lawyer can twist all things and spin, or you will say, I forgot or something. You will not get convicted so easily, so they don't care much. The Mayavadis do not accept the Lord's eternal Swarup, name, form, qualities, and Lila Shakti. They think that the Jiva's existence arises by illusion. Thus, they believe that the Jiva does not have eternal existence. They do not accept that Bhakti is eternal. They think Brahman is truth. When Brahman is covered by Maya, that is Jiva. That is their conception. That is impersonal. When covered by Maya, then this is person. So all personality, everything that is illusory, or any individual existence, everything is false, is illusory. When Jiva, by sadhana, soham, then will understand that I am actually Brahman, then Jiva does not exist anymore. Yes. They do not accept that Bhakti is eternal, because there is no one to have Bhakti. And the one who is object of Bhakti. For them, only is one, only that spirit. They even think that the sadhana for jnana is a temporary method. That sadhana, soham, is only up to the point of you understanding that you are Brahman and you identify yourself or merge with Brahman, then there is no need of any sadhana. And that is also illusory, because it is in Maya. Though it is very illogical, but still they believe like this, that by some Mayic process, somehow you will be liberated, and once you are liberated, you know that that process and everything also is temporary, illusory, useless, non-existent. All the Mayavada conclusions are contrary to the tattva of pure bhakti. By association with Mayavadis, bhakti will gradually disappear. Swarup Goswami teaches, Buddhi brashta hoilo tomar Gopaler songe, Mayava chunibare upojilo ronge. Vaishnav hoya jeba shariraka vasya shune, Sebya sevak bhav chari apanare Ishwar mane. You know, in Chaitanya, this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, there was one Balaramacharya. He was friend with Swarup Damodar, but his brother of Balaramacharya was Mayavadi, younger brother, and he was studying Mayavat in Varanasi. Then he came to Puri, and then Balaram, just he said to other devotees and Swarup Damodar, he came like out of affection for his smaller brother. He came, so you all please hear his explanation. Then Swarup Damodar answered, you have lost your intelligence in the association of Gopal. That was his younger brother. And therefore, you are eager to hear the Mayavat philosophy. When a Vaishnava listens to the Shariraka Bhasya, that is commentary of Shankaracharya, the Mayavada commentary upon the Vedanta Sutras, he gives up the Krishna conscious attitude that the Lord is the master and the living entity is his servant. Instead, he considers himself the Supreme Lord or Supreme Reality. They don't accept any personality to Supreme. They use this word Supreme. not Supreme Lord, but Supreme, that spirit, Brahman. So they think I am that, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, I am that Brahman. So I am Supreme Reality. I am no one's servant. And yes, but that is not reality. We are eternal servant of Krishna and his eternal master. So their conclusion is opposite to reality. Those who do not accept the tattva of the Supreme Lord described in the Vedas are called atheists. Their hearts are spoiled by bad logic. Thus, if one associates with them, bhakti will be destroyed. In India, like the word atheist in Western countries means if you don't believe in God. But in India, anyone who does not believe in Vedas, which are revealed scriptures by God, or they're emanating from God, they're called atheists. Veda is Shakshat Narayan, directly Narayan. So for them, anyone who does not believe in scriptures, Vedas, because they consider them as coming from Supreme Lord, he's automatically atheist. That is why everything is based on scripture. If you want to give any like teaching, then always you have to have evidence from the Vedas. Otherwise it is not accepted. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also gave for his own Siddhanta, he gave all evidences from Vedas, especially Bhagavatam. That is necessary in India. In other countries, it may not be necessary. If someone has a realization and he will speak something, then automatically people will, those who have Sukriti, they will be able to believe his words and they will accept, they will follow. But in India, if you don't give evidence from the Veda, they will not accept. Associating with persons attached to material enjoyment is a misfortune. So you should not associate with those who have no belief in the Vedas, like Buddhists. They don't believe in Vedas because Buddha told them to. They were misusing Vedas. In Tamasic Puranas, there are some sacrifices of animals, but they are meant for you to gradually, through that regulation from the Vedas, to give up violence and progress further through certain, but they misused those regulations. They were doing excessive violence to animals in order to eat their meat, and because of their tendency. And if someone said this is not good, then they will say no, it is in the Vedas, so why you are objecting? So misusing, justifying that this is prescribed by the Vedas, but they deviated from the actual purpose of those practices. So that cannot be accepted, and that is harmful. That is why Buddha Bhagavan had to come, and he said, no, if you will commit violence, then you will have to get reaction, suffering. So the highest dharma is non-violence. Ahimsa paramo dharma. And then they said, no, it is in the Vedas. Then Buddha said, then you don't follow the Vedas. Don't believe in the Vedas. You follow me. Because Buddha is Bhagavan, so he could attract those demoniac mentality persons, and gradually through his own process, he purify them of those tendencies so that they can then progress. Then Shankaracharya came, Ramanuja, others. But our Gurudev said that now recently I found, our Gurudev said it is not that only Buddha said non-violence, it is in the Veda also. Mahing syat sarvani bhutani. I heard this from Gurudev and read from him many years back, but never I found from where this is. Gurudev only said it is in the Vedas, but maybe 2-3 days back I found, by Gurudev's grace. Because someone was asking me something about Upanishad and I had to search, and there I found in Chandogya Upanishad is there. When Brahma gives advice to some students, there he tells them what they have to practice. So one practice is this: Mahing syat sarvani bhutani. Don't be violent to any living entity. To any living entity. Some versions, like our Guru, that is Mahing syat sarvani bhutani. Also Baladevi Debushan used this, but in Chandogya, in that version, it is Ahing syan sarvani bhutani. It is same meaning, another word, but same point. Ahing syam sarvani bhutani. You should not be violent to any living entity. Then, because in Vedanta Sutra, there it is written that jivas, after raising to heavenly planets by good karma, when that will be exhausted, then they will have to come down through rain, and then they will become plants. And then those plants will be eaten, and then they will. So then question is there, they really will become plants, or they will only be like in contact with plants? Then the opponent says, no, they will become plants because they are doing violence by doing those Vedic sacrifices, including those animal sacrifices. There is violence there and some other there. So the answer is no, because it is stated in Shastra that that violence which is in Vedic sacrifices, that is exception. It is not, it will not give bad result. That is exception, that violence. All other violence is prohibited except this one. This one is meant for advancement. But if someone will misuse that, like before Buddha, then they will have reaction because they are not following exactly as Shastra says. They are doing excessively and for wrong purpose. So there the conclusion is no, because by that violence they are not getting bad result and they will not become plants. They are only contacting plants because another jiva is in the plant due to his own karma. But those jivas who come down, they will only pass through those plants to reach there. There is whole topic. Now I cannot go in all details, but what I was happy to know where this is from. Mahing syat sarvani bhutani. Don't be violent to any living entity. That is why our Gurudev said that this, when in the name of religion, they are killing each other, that is not what religion actually teaches. Religion teaches us God is only one, and all are coming from same God. All are related. So if you commit any violence to any living entity, then God will not be satisfied. In the name of God, you are killing. That is not proper. Vedas say you should not be violent to any. But then this objection comes, but Vedas say that process when you sacrifice animal in Vedic process, that is another thing. There is violence to that animal, but that animal will be benefited. She will get benefit and you will get benefit. And they will not get that pain which otherwise they would get if someone would kill, if they are used in sacrifice. But And again, it is said that this was possible in Satya Yuga and Treta Yuga. When there were pure Brahmins, they were powerful, they could properly do those sacrifices and chanting proper mantras and everything, then that animal was benefited and worshipper was benefited. But if Brahmin is not pure and cannot properly, then that is prohibited. That is why in Kali Yuga, animal sacrifice is prohibited. In Kali Yuga, no such Brahmins are there. Like sannyas also is prohibited in Kali Yuga, then this horse sacrifice, cow sacrifice, and to produce child in a brother's womb. No, not brothers. In brother can conceive in wife the child. If husband is impotent, then brother can, in his name, impregnate that wife. That was possible in previous yugas. Now it is prohibited. So many things we have to consider according to time, place, circumstance. In Kali Yuga, many things are not. That is why also Ramanuja and Madhva, in their practices, they also have many these yagyas, sacrifices, offerings like this, but all those offerings where animal was offered in previous ages, now they applied flour. You have to offer flour instead of that animal. In Kali Yuga it is prohibited. So if you see, that mantra will be there, but they will offer flour, not a goat or horse. So they adjusted according to Kali Yuga system. So this we have to follow. There Brahma told to his students, if you want to get Brahma Gyan, transcendental knowledge, then you have to follow all those practices. They are listed there. One of them is, you should not be violent to any living entity. Associating with persons attached to material enjoyment is a misfortune. Those who are always associating with enjoyers criticize others and are full of violence and hate. Because enjoyer, he thinks I'm enjoyer, I'm owner. Always this is duality. My country, your country, my boyfriend, your boyfriend, my husband, your all this, my all the time. This duality. Because of false ego, I am the enjoyer. Then he will criticize others. He will be friends with certain group or family like this, and he will criticize others, and he will be violent to others. Violence and hate. This is due to duality, due to not realizing that knowledge that all jivas are coming from same source. We are all related. It is not that Chinese are enemies of India. That is all based on bodily consideration. Russians are enemies of Americans, and like this, all duality. So Prahlad Maharaj told to demon boys, you give up this demoniac mentality of enjoyer and thinking this in this duality. To his father also he told. So if you associate with enjoyers, always there will be this politics, violence and hate and killing, thirst for enjoyment and quarreling and arguing are their life all the time. They don't see anything beyond that. They think this is life. Sense enjoyment is the goal, and in order to get that, you have to do this. Kill others for your own sense, to get your own sense enjoyment more and more and more. The more they enjoy, the more their thirst increases. These material enjoyers do not have time to speak or hear topics of Krishna. No time. Only working and enjoying. They are far from Atma Tattva, whether they do pious or sinful acts. In this world, it is like addiction. If you start doing something, some drug you take, then you will become addicted. It is same with any kind of material enjoyment. We have example in Bhagavatam, that Jajati Maharaj, he requested his youngest son, you give me your young age, because he was cursed to get old age. But the desire to enjoy was there. So that son gave him young age. And this king with young age, together with his wife, Devayani, all opulence was there, all money, all palaces, beds, everything was there. He was enjoying sexual pleasure, not 1, 2, 3 days, few years, 1,000 years, without any obstruction. Because he was rich king, only enjoying 1,000 years. Then after 1,000 years, he came to senses by the grace of Krishna. And he spoke this, that if you pour ghee to fire, the fire will not be extinguished, it will increase. This is not the procedure to extinguish fire. Like that, fulfilling lusty desires will never finish lusty desires. Opposite, it will increase lusty desires. That is fact. And for every material enjoyment. So then he said, this is not, and also I am not getting fulfillment, only my troubles are constantly increasing. That is also true, you can see, constantly increasing. So he gave up then and there. Gave up, this is not the procedure, and he accepted the service of Krishna. Then he also explained his realization to wife. Wife also accepted, she also became devotee. Then they can be happy. Otherwise, fulfilling lusty desires has got no end. And also, I heard from one, like in this world there is car, and car loses its cost by age, because the capacity of car also deteriorates with time. So cost is also less, after half a year, 1 year, less, the new one. Like that, we think I will enjoy that body, then capacity of giving pleasure will decrease with time. Like those who are drunkards, also they know. At first they could easily get drunk by one, but then they need two, they need three, like this. So like that with this enjoyment, that capacity of giving pleasure will decrease with time. But because you are enjoying, the desire or thirst will increase with time. So just the opposite will happen. Less and less pleasure and more desire. Then ultimately they will quarrel. You are guilty of my suffering. They will blame each other and go to court, fight, and kill each other like this. Because this is the effect of this Maya. It attracts us, yes, you will be happy. And then that happiness decreases, your lust increases, and there is problem. So those who are wise, as Katha Upanishad says, they will not accept that path of hedonism, because they know the poison is there at the end. They will relinquish that and will accept path of service of Krishna. Yes, the more they enjoy, the more their thirst increases. And you are all the time busy to enjoy and to earn for your enjoyment. But this king, he did not have to give any time to earn. So someone may say, yes, if I could have so much money that I could continuously enjoy, then there would be no, then I would be happy. But now I'm not happy because I have to work 8 hours and only I can enjoy all other hours. But here we have example. This king had no job, already full money, 24 hours enjoyment at any time, no limitations. But he came to this conclusion. It's a fact. We have to learn from his case and apply that in our life. So they have no time to hear and chant about Krishna. Das Goswami says, Vishoyer onno khaile malin hoy mon, malin mon hoyle noche Krishna rosmaran. When one eats food offered by a materialistic man, one's mind becomes contaminated. And when the mind is contaminated, one is unable to think of Krishna properly. Other desires are there. How Krishna will come? Ravan could not even see Sita Devi, what to speak of touching her, because she is transcendental. And he was full of lust. That lust makes you blind. So in impure heart, in impure mind, full of other desires, Krishna cannot appear. He will appear only in a heart which is inclined to serve him. So that is impossible. So tomorrow, it is a special day, disappearance of Jagadish Pandit and Jiva Goswami, but I was invited to one program, one house program. So tomorrow there will be no Skype program, but if you want, you can watch this Harikatha from last year on YouTube. That list is there, or read in Gurudev's book, or on internet, or hear some other Harikatha to remember them and pray for their grace. Haribol.